And we are officially live. All right. Thank you so much for being here. This is absolutely amazing. I am so excited to have a cigar conversation, a good drink with friends.
Yes, yes.
So thank you guys for being here. A little Corona-cation right now. All of us are home and quarantined.
It's officially Cinco de Mayo. Are we able to say that as well?
Absolutely. That's why we're celebrating. It's Cinco de Mayo. You guys are enjoying some tequila.
That's exactly right. Why we're celebrating. 100% tequila. And today, just so that people know, I have a Hoya de Monterrey. This is actually one of the ones that got discontinued. It's one of my favorite ones that they do. Is that how you pronounce it, Pierre? They do.
Yes, they do. Correct.
Yeah. So a lot of people, let me just introduce myself for those that don't know. I go by the name of Velvet Jones. Some people call me Ludacris. Some people call me the guy that's on the song with Justin Bieber. Some people call me Tej from the Fast and Furious film. And in my pastimes, what I love to do is drink a lot of tequila. I love red wines. I love smoking cigars. These are things that I do occasionally just to reward myself from all the hard work that I'm able to do. And there you have it.
I love it. Marco, throw yourself a little intro. What are you drinking with us?
Man, I just saw that Chris is drinking exactly what I am. So I have the Jovan. I have the Casa Dragones. They were nice enough to put our names on the bottles for myself, Chris, and Kevin. We were on some island. I don't even remember where we were actually. It was Mexico, obviously.
So I'll tell you like this, man. This is my friend for a long time, Marco. He comes from a family of individuals that let me just say they're very driven individuals in life. No pun intended whatsoever. But you got to look them up. But to answer the question of where we got these bottles from, we go on vacation with each other every year. Him, myself, Kevin Hart, and all of our wives. And we actually, the year before last, we went to Tequila, Mexico, which is fitting for this particular time frame and today of us celebrating Cinco de Mayo. And we went and visited all of the places of where tequila started and where the tequila, like the plants, how it's done. We just have an affinity and a love and an appreciation for, liquors and basically how they're made and and drinking responsibly, of course. But tequila is one of the best ones because it's made from agave. A lot of other liquors are not made from agave. And people that don't know about agave, Pierre, you're kind of the educator on the line, but it's that natural sugar that is good for people. So I know you drink a little bit of everything, but go ahead and tell them what's up.
I'll define it in a little bit different way that'll kind of bring us all together, which is to say, at special times like this with your friends, where we're all sitting down and having a great conversation and we're enjoying, as Chris calls it, a reward for all the hard work that Chris puts in and that Marco puts in. Luxury is really about capturing time, right? So you think about it, what makes an Aston Martin special? What makes that bottle of Casa Dragones special? It's the amount of time that humans had to go to craft that thing, right? Whether it's these cigars, whether it's that bottle of tequila or a nice automobile, the luxury of it comes from the amount of time and effort craftspeople put into making it. It's not about the dollars that are spent, right? If you needed a car, you could go buy a Ford Fiesta. If you needed a booze, you could go buy something much cheaper. That's not what it's about. And so this time is for all of us to hang out and enjoy that luxury, which is time with each other, time with friends, time with family and loved ones. So that's what all of these items are, whether it's super fine tequila that uses agave, which is very rich in sugar, which makes a very clean tasting alcohol, especially when it's as fine as what you guys are drinking, or you're smoking a fine Cuban cigar. So I am actually smoking an Edmond Dantes for Cinco de Mayo. Two reasons here. One, my good friend Chris gave me this, and we'll tell that story in a second. But also, this is a regional Mexican cigar. So
why didn't I think of that?
Yeah, exactly.
So this cigar is actually made by Monte Cristo, but the country of Mexico does not allow Monte Cristo to use the term Monte Cristo. Wow. So they changed it to Edmond Dantes, the lead character in The Count of Monte Cristo, which is
one of my favorite movies, by the way. One of my favorite movies.
Badass movie. Unbelievably good movie. So they're called Edmond Dantes. This is exclusively made for the country of Mexico and is incredibly rare. This is a very generous gift. And we enjoyed this cigar in Napa.
Yep.
We had visited Marco's family vineyard while we were there, and we went to the French Laundry and were able to have dinner on their patio and smoke before, during, and after dinner, which was a real treat because that's not something most people get to do there.
Absolutely. And let me just say that there are a lot of aspirations that I have in life, but I think owning a winery in Napa Valley is probably up there with the top 3 things that I want to accomplish in my life. So Marco,
yeah.
I know that I know you love wine just as much as we both love wine. But you got to tell me how it feels to be a part of a family that has a winery, man. And you can't downplay this because it might be normal for you. You just got to just give us a little something, because I want to know as a fan what it's like, especially when you start off race car driving, and what makes people go over and say, okay, I want to start a winery. Is it because your name is so popular? Is it because your family loves wine so much? Wait a second, you're Italian. Let me answer that question right now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's in your family, but go ahead, take over. I want to hear it.
No, I mean, you pretty much
Right.
answered it. My grandfather Mario is, he has this saying, and it's basically a day without wine is like a day without sunshine. So he,
I love it.
Very Italian. I love it.
Yeah, so he loves his wine, and I think it's more of a passion thing. Let me tell you, I don't know if it's the greatest business decision in the world. I haven't seen the numbers on it, but I know that as far as passion and just having an amazing setting to go to, I was the best man in my dad's wedding there in 2006 when he remarried Jody. So it was so cool to just be a part of it. And it was like the only time I was there when it wasn't a race weekend. Normally every race weekend we have our sponsored functions there, which is, I mean, it's an awesome setting, but when you're working, it's not the same. I'm watching everybody try the wine, but I'm not, right? So, it was nice to be there I was only there one time where I was able to drink the wine. So it was really weird. But, him and I, he's my neighbor here behind me. I'll have to show you the house later, but we have our wine shipments come in from the winery. And so we're super lucky. I love the Cabernet. I'm a Cabernet guy.
That's what's up, man. I have, my mom brought some Camus over here today, and that goes towards Pierre. I want you to talk about it because I feel like you know a lot about wines as well. But people always, you go to Bordeaux, sometimes you go to Burgundies, we go over there to Europe, you know what I mean? There's Australian wines, there's like African wines, but right in our own backyard, man, here in California is some of the best producers and some of the best wine the world has to offer. So I'm curious to know your thoughts, because a lot of it has to do with regions and obviously the climate, of the consistency of where certain things are, and grapes and who takes care of them and all this other stuff. But man, give me your top wines, Pierre. I know you're supposed to be kind of interviewing us, but damn it, I'm flipping the script on you today.
I love it. I love it
too.
Yeah.
That's a very good question. So I chunk wines into 2 groups. Stuff I'm going to lay down and age, i.e. like collector stuff that's special, and then stuff like just I'm going to drink, right? Like friends are over, we're going to crack into something nice.
Same.
Those are my 2 buckets.
Yeah.
So for stuff I'm going to crack into and drink, if we walked over to my wine cellar real quick, you would see Camus. So I love Napa Cabs. I love big, tons of fruit, lush, soft edges like Camus has, where you can either sip it or you can drink it. I love a wine that's big enough to do both. So I'm a big fan of that. I love Silverado side of Napa Valley, which is actually, you guys are in the valley floor, close to the Silverado side, which is one of my favorite regions. It just they get a lot of sun, tends to be really lush on that side. So big names that people would recognize from that side: Stag's Leap, Duckhorn, Dariouche, Joseph Phelps. Those are all named Camus, right? Camus is a couple of miles directly north of the Andretti winery. That side of the road, that side of the valley. So very, very similar in that way. So Camus is easily one of them. Dariouche is another. One of them that maybe people don't know that, Chris, you and I have enjoyed before is Buchela.
I was about to say, you have to tell the world your secret sauce. Marco, you have got to try this wine. When I'm telling you, this has
you say Buchela?
On you.
Buchela, yeah, Buchela.
Yeah, that's my.
He knows about it.
That's been our go-to, man. So good.
Yeah, that's
You
so
sons of
good.
bitches. I didn't know that you both knew about.
So
Yo, that wine is so good, man. It's like trying to get on that list. It's like Schrader's. It's like, how the fuck do you get on that list?
Yep.
Yeah. So Buchela is absolutely one of my favorites. That's formerly the blender from Scarecrow, which is one of my other favorite wines. She left Scarecrow a number of years ago to go start a winery with her husband. Her husband runs the books. She's the winemaker. Buchela is absolute. I mean, you guys all know it's just outstanding.
I can't believe you just said that. We had a bottle last night, and that's our date night wine. We that's our go-to. And like you said, we have like when there's gonna be a bunch of friends over, you're not popping open more than 3 bottles of that stuff.
Damn right.
That's right.
It gets expensive.
It gets expensive quick. But my favorite collector wines to fill that up, you just brought up Schrader. So Schrader is on that short list. Yeah. Fred Schrader, by the way, huge cigar guy. You want to get in with Fred, that's the move. Bring him some cigars. He's a sucker for good cigars.
So is my guy that owns the French Laundry, obviously.
Thomas Keller.
He has one of the largest collections of Cuban cigars and doesn't really smoke that much at all. Just gives them to friends. I mean, that's a rumor. I don't know how true that is.
So he has an amazing humidor at the French Laundry. He lives behind the French Laundry. So the fence actually separates the restaurant and his house. Yeah. And so he has very good taste in cigars. He's blended cigars with Davidoff, big cigar nut. We help him source pre-embargo cigars for his menu at the French Laundry, and some of his other restaurants as well. And I was very fortunate to be invited to the 25th anniversary party of the French Laundry, so celebrating its 25th birthday, which was this past summer, and moved heaven and earth to actually find a box of one of his favorite cigars, which is the 898s, the Partagas, Cuban Partagas 898.
Oh, love those.
From the same
stuff,
year,
man.
The French. Oh yeah, man. So I found a perfect box from the same year the French Laundry started. So a 25-year-old box, and I gave it to him. And that's one of those things, man, where you don't have to spend a ton of money. You have to spend a ton of time right here thinking about it. Right. To make a gift really, really meaningful. Because here's a dude who has everything and some change. So like, how do you get him anything that means anything?
Exactly.
It's not the money you spend, right?
Wow.
It's the kind of the calories you burn. So yeah, so I gave him a box of that. He was like beside himself. But yeah, he has a very nice collection, doesn't smoke often, he works too much.
Man, speaking of that, another guy who loves Partagas, or loves Cuban cigars all around, but is a big Partagas smoker, whether people know it or not, Michael Jordan, man. He smokes 4 or 5 cigars a day now. And of course he can do that. He has earned himself that privilege.
Right.
You know, between golfing and smoking cigars, I think that's something that I feel like I'm going to get a lot more into, because I didn't have the patience level to do it. But I'm curious to know, Marco, we're really good friends, but there's certain things I still don't know about you. And I would love to know, in terms of golf, are you just like me where you get out there and you swing every now and then, but you never have really gotten all the way into it because we don't have that fucking patience at this moment in time, but you can see yourself getting into it eventually, or no?
I mean, I have no excuse. I have a golf course at my childhood home that I bought from my dad. So like the place that I'm at right now, there is a 9-hole golf course and I don't play golf. So there's no excuse for me. However, I'm a race car driver and my patience is like, I mean, patience, right. But I get out there and everybody's like, it's so relaxing, man, when you get out there. I want to break the club. I want to like, it's like, yeah, it's so relaxing.
Marco, here's the real question, and you have to be honest for everybody right now. Don't sugarcoat it. You said a 9-hole golf course?
Right.
How many holes have you been able to accomplish consistently in one game on your 9-hole golf? What number of holes did you get to in your 9-hole golf course in all of the time that you had one in your backyard?
Honestly, I don't know if I played them all, man. Like there's a way.
I knew it.
No, there's a way to play 18. Like, so there's different tees and there's a way to actually connect and play 18. But man,
you maybe got through what, 5 and then said, fuck it, I'm going
right.
to eat some.
And they're supposed to be par 3s. I'm on 6, 7, just, just getting mad. So I need to learn that side of the game, the patient side of the game. I think it'd be good for me to learn, same as you. And Chris, we talked about starting at the same time, so our skill levels will be similar, but who knows?
Well, let me tell you something that I've learned about golf is that no matter who does it, it's one of those things you literally have to practice that every single day. Otherwise, you'll get off your game. And that's what this whole conversation is about, man. Good friends that last, cigars that only get better with time, tequila and wine that only get better with time, and golf is a game that you only can get better with time. So as we get older and we evolve and we get better in life, we're only interested in things that get better with time, man, that mature the same way that we've matured. And I think that's what life is all about.
Man, it sounds like we have to start playing.
We do. You're right.
Marco, I'd pay money to see Marco go from 200 miles an hour to 2 miles an hour. I don't know how that math works.
My problem.
Yo, I'm gonna tell you something.
I don't see that.
The crazy thing is, I would love to ask Marco this question because I don't think I've ever asked him this. A lot of people think that race car drivers, which they are very brave, they're very, like in terms of adrenaline junkies and all of these different things. But we all know as men that you being an adrenaline junkie and being extremely confident, and then something happening to where that confidence and adrenaline switches to extreme fear, even if it's for 2 seconds, can switch at the drop of a dime or within a split second of you being on that track. When has been a time that you could say your heartbeat skipped while you were on that track and all that adrenaline and all that energy and all that love for the sport switched instantly into what in the fuck is going on right now?
So I'll start with saying that we are wired differently. Like it's not normal. It's not normal. So we've been in situations, man, where we've lost friends in this sport. We've been in races where we postponed or canceled because we've lost friends. And honestly, fear is not a thing. I feel like I'd retire if it was a fear. It's just, you have to carry that faith with you that, it's never going to be me. And you carry that love of the sport with you, and know that the people that have lost their lives doing it have loved what they were doing, and they, that was what they wanted to do. And basically, I know all the friends that we've lost, those are the ones that would be the first ones making fun of me for not racing because of it, right? So we're definitely wired different when it comes to that. So
not even at a time when, say for instance, someone had a crash, and not necessarily a fatal crash, but it was within a certain amount of feet away from your car and you saw it happen. Within that split second, you don't switch from confidence to, oh shit, I'm scared for a second, or no?
It's fully instinct at the time. And you, like, at the speeds we carry, we don't have time to be afraid. Like there's no time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like you can't even be afraid. It's just instinct. And then and you're all of a sudden you're under caution and you're talking to your engineers and you're talking about the restart. Like you don't even have time to think about that, and I think when you do that's the time that you're hanging it up, is when you're actually afraid.
That's why that was a good ass question. Like you answered my question, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. I get it, man. It's almost like when you're in a fight and you get hit with a fucking blow, but you don't get knocked out. You don't have time to be scared. All you can do is react and try to hit the motherfucker back so that you don't get hit again. So I'm with you. That makes perfect sense, bro. That makes perfect sense. So listen, we travel a lot, but a lot of people don't know, Pierre. I hope I'm not giving away a bunch of your secrets, but you frequent Hawaii and you love Hawaii so much. Can you please give us why you love Hawaii so much over a lot of different places that you could frequent in the world of travel? Why do you love it so much? Apart from the fact that the bugs, there are no bugs.
I have to hear this too, man. I've never been. I got to hear this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You've been all over, dude. Marco, you've been all over the world, and you've never been to Hawaii?
I've been all over the world with Chris.
Yeah. He has to go to Hawaii. Tell him why he needs to go to Hawaii, Pierre. Come on.
Okay.
Man.
Okay. I'm going to get very pragmatic on one side and very spiritual on the other. So pragmatic first. It is absolutely beautiful. It is the most tropical place that you can go and still be safe because you're in the United States. If you've traveled to the Caribbean and other places, while they can be absolutely beautiful, they don't have some of the luxuries that we have, right? Safety concerns, being able to drink the water, all of those things all evaporate when you're in Hawaii. As Chris mentioned, there are no bugs. There are virtually zero bugs on most of the places that you're going to go, right? You can go out to Kauai and some other places and have some different experiences. They have what's called trade winds. So what's unique about Hawaii is you have that tropical vibe, right? The temperatures and the humidity, but there's a light breeze that blows basically 10, 11 months out of the year. So you never are hot. It's not like being in Aruba or the Dominican where you're like just soaked in sweat from the humidity. There's always this like perfect breeze. So you're just chilling.
I didn't even realize that.
Amazing.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Man, that's where I would get sunburned, man.
Oh yeah, that you'll get quick. The nature there is really, really beautiful. But then you got the culture, right? And so the culture there is like, it's hard to describe because it's Asian, it's Southeast Asian, Pacific Islander, and it's very American. But what I mean by that is really the best parts about American, because it is such a hodgepodge of cultures.
Yeah.
And everybody is 5 different races, so nobody gives a hoot where you come from, right? It's all about how you are as a person, how good you are as a person.
That's how it should be.
It's 100%. It's how we all aspire to be. We wish everywhere was like that. And the what they call the mana, the sort of the spirit of the place.
Yep.
It's just special there, man. It's not like being anywhere else. The people are very kind and generous, but you just kind of feel that while you're there. So you've got amazing weather, ridiculous food, amazing nature. You don't have any of the downsides that you have in other tropical locations. And then you just got this crazy, amazing culture and spirituality to it. It's like the perfect intersection of all these things that I love in like one spot.
That is true. That is true, man. I give you that, man. You taught me some shit that I didn't even know. And you know what, man? You just said something that reminds me of another question that I have from my good friend Marco. I think I've asked him this before, but I do so much that I may not even remember. But I think all the people watching want to know the answer to this. It's a 2-part question. One,
oh boy,
how hard is it to switch gears from knowing that your job is being on the track going over 200 miles an hour and getting in your regular car in your own driveway and driving the fucking speed limit within the realm of your own home? That's the first question. The second part is, we know that you've been speeding before outside of the racetrack. And when you get pulled over, do the police say, "Oh shit, it's just you, Andretti. Sorry about that. Just slow your ass down"? 2-part question. Come on, Marco, what you got for him?
Yeah, I mean the second part to that is it's definitely a hit or miss. Like I've gotten pulled over, and sometimes they want to make an example out of you, right? They know who you are, but they're like, that doesn't matter, and so they go the opposite way.
Right.
But my advice when you get pulled over is just to say, I always say it. They're like, "Where are you headed?" And I say, "Well, whatever, like going to a flight." And I always say, "But it's no excuse." If you say it's no excuse, you're kind of admitting guilt, or you're admitting like I was wrong.
I love that.
And it puts the cop on the back.
Yes.
It puts them like, you know what? And so anyway,
that's a secret ninja trick right there.
Look, as a black man, I have to try that and see if it works for me. That's no excuse, officer. I think I deserve to get. No, I'm just playing. Go ahead, Mark.
No, but, I mean, it's a hit or miss, right? So sometimes I would say 60-40, I get let off. So I've been very lucky, I've had the occasional, "Who do you think you are, Mario Andretti?" And it's like,
oh,
well, I have to hand my ID, and they're like, "You got to be kidding me." So there's sometimes that happens, but yeah, I mean, the first part to that is I've gotten out of a speedway race, which we're running like 240 miles an hour, and we get out of the race and we're headed to the plane, and I like to think I'm going slow, but Marta's over there yelling at me, my wife, and but it doesn't feel fast. So it comes second nature. So when you get on the road, you have to really focus on the speedometer to make sure you're not doing 110 and it feels like 40, So when you get in a real car after a race, that was a good question. It feels, everything that's happening is so slow motion compared to what we're used to.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like if I were a police officer, and I know you still have to answer the second part of the question. Sometimes I get
started with that
sporadic because I'm excited. But if I was a police officer and I literally never heard any excuse from anybody else and never believed it and just said, fuck it, I'm giving them a ticket. I would have to think to myself, this person is used to going 200 miles or faster over, you know what I mean? Like, how can I honestly say to myself that they know how to go the speed limit and think that they're going the speed limit? Like, it's almost like, you know, playing basketball with a kid. You got to let some shit slide sometime. But go ahead and answer the second part.
No, that's what I mean. Like, the second part of that question is sometimes they want to make an example out of you. They know, and so they think I'm a smart ass or whatever. So you're getting a ticket no matter what. And it's,
gotcha,
you know.
Right. Oh, yeah. You already answered that. See, the tequila's already getting to me. Sorry about that.
No, you're all good. So sometimes they want to make an example out of you.
There you go. All good
I
shit.
I got a quick question for Marco too, actually. So I've done a little bit of weekend warrior racing, not real racing, vintage racing. And that shit is hard, man. You are so tired at the end of the day. Like, holy cow, you're sweating and concentrating and your whole body is tight because you're sitting in the seat just vibrating for hours. Like, what does your physical conditioning look like? Like, you got to be working out and running and cardio and all that. And people don't think that because you're sitting behind the wheel. They think, oh, you're just driving. But if you've ever done it, man, it is one of the most physically demanding sports of all time.
Yo, and to add to that, are you more physically drained or are you more mentally drained after a damn race?
Right.
Wow.
So I would say there's some races that are both. So you take like a short oval, like something we don't have power steering. So the wheel is super heavy. We have so much downforce that we can run inverted upside down and still stick to the roof. So we have so much loading in the steering and everything like that. But I'll start with saying, like, this sport, and I can relate to the fans that don't understand that it's physical, because you can't go out in your backyard and play it like you can in a normal ball sport, right? But so it's hard to relate to, so you don't know it. But the G-forces, we run up to 5 Gs in places like Iowa, and 5 Gs is 5 times your body weight. And so no power steering. We have to put up with that for 200 laps, 250 laps, whatever the race distance is, and 2 hours, whatever it may be. So it's tough to relate to, but I do a lot of cardio, a lot of endurance stuff. And so I like doing long, it's funny. Like I hear some people do like short, high blast stuff. I do long, high intensity stuff because that's what we have to do. If there's no caution flags, there's no yellows, there's no accidents, we're going green the whole time. It's physical, man.
Damn, bro. Damn. Because I know Marco, like, he's one of those people that will run consistently for a certain amount of miles. You have 2 types of people in this world. You got the hit runners that try and do a burst of doing something really quick, and then you got the long distance runners. So everything he just said is a testament towards he has to be in it for the long run, man. Like, I mean, how long is a race hour wise? Like the Indy 500 lasts like 3 hours long, right?
Exactly right. Yeah, and then a normal race is probably hour 45 to 2 hours.
And by the way, everybody watching, that's where me and Marco met through a mutual friend of mine who I have an affinity for anything that attaches to a male testosterone, and racing is one of those things. And I went to the Indy 500 and I was so happy and so, it was so exhilarating and loved it so much. And I just happened to be able to go to Marco's pit, and I met him. Once I met him, I was like, man, this guy he's humble like myself. He's really cool. And we have a lot of the same interests. And from there, man, we clicked, and it's been history ever since, just so everybody know. And then for everybody that doesn't know, for my man Pierre that put this whole thing together, there's a cigar community of individuals that I can honestly say, whether you met on social media or through mutual cigar friends, people who come together and smoke cigars and have an affinity for this leaf, they're usually individuals who have their own businesses or about to start their own businesses, or entrepreneurs, people who love the finer things in life, people who are driven towards success, have had many successes and many failures, and just continue to learn through life. And I can honestly say that Pierre is the same way. Once I met him, he was just one of those people that just really intrigued me by a lot of the stories that he had. and we've been friends ever since, and shared a lot of stories, and shared a lot of cigars, and a lot of wine, and a lot of liquors. And that just lets people know what type of person I am. I just love learning from other people. I always feel like everybody is an expert in something. Even if someone gets on your fucking nerves, even if someone is not as driven as you are, they're an expert in getting on people's fucking nerves. Like literally everyone is an expert in something. So you have to try to listen, which is something that I'm getting better at. As you see, I'm cutting everyone off and taking control of this whole YouTube. But I'm so excited with these two people because I fuck with them so much that it's interesting, and I'm hoping that people watching are able to get a lot of insight on different careers and different things going on just by the questions that I'm wanting to answer, wanting an answer from as a fan. So there you have it.
Yeah, some of the most successful people I have ever met, and I'm talking to two very successful people right now, are the first people to ask a lot of questions because there's a curiosity that's just in them. And somehow, I don't know how, but the most curious people oftentimes end up being some of the most successful people in whatever their endeavor is. And you've got two people right here that couldn't have more different careers, right? Race car driver and entertainer. And yet both of them are asking tons of questions and are super engaged and are listening. And that's just a common trait that you find with lots of different successful people, because they always want to learn, right? They're just constantly just sucking up information so they can figure out how they can use that to grow themselves, to grow their business. But I got a question I've always wanted to ask you, Chris.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're up on stage, you're in front of thousands and thousands of people, tens of thousands of people. They're listening to you. They're freaking out. It's amazing. Then you go home and you got the wife and the kids and they're like, Dad, shut up. We're watching the show. Like the switch, like for Marco, it's like I went 240 and now I'm going 10. And for you, it's like 10,000 people want to listen to every word I have to say. And then I come home and then nobody wants to listen to what I have to say. So like, what is that? What is that switch?
No, that's a very good question, man. I stay humble, and I've never been humble more than when I come home and these kids and my wife don't give a damn about the things that Ludacris gets as, as being an entertainer. And I feel like life is about balance. And I think that it's so great of a balance that I wouldn't want anything less from it. The kids are innocent. They don't know any better. They're blatantly honest. And my wife is the same way, man. And, she's from Africa and they don't know how to be any other way. And so I think it's great because I don't have yes men around me and I don't have yes women around me, obviously. But to answer your question in the best form that I can, I'm so used to it here at home that as soon as I get off the stage, I already mentally prepare and take myself completely out of the Ludacris mindset because I know I'm going home. Period. Right. It's over. It's over, bro. Like, I'm going home. These people, Daddy just needs to bring home the bacon. That's all that matters right now. I got to continue to make sure they're good. And speaking of that, that we talk about this all the time with both of you guys. Marco has seen me been working on this since we were in Maldives together, which was like 7 years ago. Pierre, I always update you. Part of the thing that I'm doing that's a part of my legacy is that I have something that was inspired by my kids. That one is an animation that has been sold to Netflix that's coming out next year called Karma's World. And it's an animation that is dealing with a young lady who kind of expresses herself through music and through song. And that's going to be coming out and it's going to be great. I don't want to give too many details, but it's called Karma's World. Netflix has it, comes out September of next year. And then I also have something called Kid Nation, which is like live action videos for kids with enriching content as well. So a lot of things that's dealing with the new generation because of all the craziness we're dealing with today. And I feel like you have to plant the seeds in the younger kids in order to try and change the future for the better, even when we're not here. And that's what my whole passion is on right now, outside of me putting out new music as Ludacris and all these other things. Because there's adult content that I have, like the Sex Beat record with me, Usher, and Little John, which is adult content. And then I have children's content as well. So it's a lot going on in my life, man.
I love that. Cheers to that.
Thank you, man. Cheers. You see this big ass margarita glass that I have right here. This is not
a bucket.
this is not one of those objects that appear big only because we're on YouTube. It's really this huge. Just letting you know.
Marco,
great.
what are you working on? What do you have coming up? Like what given what's happened with the pandemic and racing and all that stuff, like give us the kind of synopsis. What does your next 12 months look like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm playing more of the long game, I'd say, because I'm blessed to have that short-term income, and well, right now I don't know if there's a thing called sports, so we're hoping and praying that comes back, but I've been investing in real estate and residential stuff like that, a bunch of apartment buildings, and trying to just be smart for the future, and so basically early on in my career, just trying to carry debt just so that I can grow and build, and then by the time I end up hanging it up, it's paid off and we can cash flow, and my goal is to make more money outside the sport than I do in. That's my goal. So I don't know how, but I've managed to make money on an aircraft. So yeah, I mean it's all about
that never happens.
Yeah, I have a similar plane to Chris, and so it's all about who your partners are. And East Coast Jets, man, it's unbelievable the kind of clients they have. I mean, I had a practice for IndyCar I was in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and it started raining, and I text April, the girl from East Coast Jets, and I said, man, I don't think I'm gonna, all the flights will probably be canceled. She sold a one-way out to Sheboygan that day. So it's amazing the clientele they have. So I've been blessed to be able to, keep an airplane up in the air, and it's able to take me to the races, and we're able to just be in and out of places. So it's been good. So real estate and aviation outside of the sport.
That's one thing that I can say as a testament towards my friend Marco, and for everybody watching, especially during times like this, as we move forward and you get out of the hole that some people have dug themselves, is that, man, just like myself, he makes a lot of sacrifices. You may see, in the media that he's a race car driver, but he's told me numerous times, like, I'm like, Marco, let's go do this. Let's spend money on this. And he's told me, Chris, I can't do that right now because I just invested in this, and, holla at me in about 6 months and I may be able to spend some money on that. But right now I'm not able to do that. That's a testament to how strong his values are, and him being okay in a time like right now where obviously no income is coming in. He's not racing, and he doesn't seem too concerned with being able to race within the next couple month or two because of the investments and all the time that he's put in. So I say that to let everybody know you always have to plan for a rainy day, as he just said. And it's almost like it's great to live like every day could be your last. But again, man, life is about balance. And I think that's kind of the moral of today, and what we need to take away is that it's good to celebrate, but you only celebrate when you have really something to celebrate for. Hard work, sacrifice. Yes. That's it. Don't celebrate every day just because just because you're alive. Like, you have to celebrate as well because you've done some extremely hard work and put some time in. So that's great. Like, Dwayne Johnson is one of my great friends. The fact that he has a cheat meal, he's one of the most robotic and like disciplined people that I know on this. He's the closest thing to a robot that I know. And what I mean by that is he eats clean 7 days a week, but has that cheat meal on Sundays, but eats clean literally every other meal until that day. And he's been doing that for like 3 decades. One time he went like 4 months without having a cheat meal. So if you ever think about The Rock's success and why he's number one on the call sheet and the biggest, as we know it, movie star right now, is because of the hard work and the discipline that he puts in. So I just want to stress, while we're all on here having fun, the reason that we're able to be here is because of the sacrifices that we've made in life.
Yeah, that is 100%. And playing to the future, right? So for you, Chris, and for you, Marco, when you think about some of the investments that you've made and some of the plans that you've made, seeds that you've planted, to be harvested later. So for Chris, he takes his skill set, which is creative and content, right, music specifically, and applies that to different mediums and attacks a new audience with the skill set that he already has. Marco's like, hey, I can't race for forever. I'm not going to be racing when I'm 80. This isn't going to work. I'm going to take the hard work that I've done here and plant seeds for the future, whether that be real estate, investment portfolio, sponsorships, other things that are outside of the racing game, so that we can continue to grow, build a legacy for our families, build a legacy for our names, and really just in a situation like this, the three of us are kind of like, yeah, this is tragic for the country and for the world, but we're not sweating as bad as other people are, and that's because we put in hard work and discipline and sacrifice for a long time. And it's times like this where it becomes a little bit more clear to us. We're like, oh, okay, we're okay. Everything's going to be all right. And that's why planning for the future, like Chris said, is so critical, because if you party every day, how's that going to work out for you when you lose your job or when there's a hiccup in the system, right? So, you know, one of the things I do is I get paid by corporations to come speak. They want to hear how I built my business and they want me to advise them. That's a great source of income. It went to zero. All of them are canceled. There's not a single one on the books at all. If I only relied on that income, what would I be doing right now? Right? So you've got to diversify and think about your skill set and how you're going to be around for the future. So salute to both of you for setting such a great example for people.
Man, we appreciate that, bro. And you know what's crazy about what you said is that the people who lived for today and party so much, they're feeling the effects. And I'm praying that they realize what, you know, moving forward, that what's most important in life. And what's most important, obviously, is family and being able to take care of yourself and keeping a level head and having a mindset to where you can be comfortable at times like this. You know, obviously, we're all feeling the effects. I don't want anyone out 100%. There to think that within business, we're not, you know, losing money as well. But at least we've lived our lives in a sense where we always were planning for a rainy day.
Yes.
You know, and I think that's extremely important. And that's why we're able to do this. For me, and I know there's a lot of people out there that they look at us and they're like, okay, I've done this before. I hate when people say, oh, it's easy for you guys. You guys are rich. Well, how the fuck do you think we got rich in the first place? I'm saying, even, listen, let's just be completely honest. Even Marco, which is why I have so much respect for him, even though he comes from a family of people that have been successful, he still has to hold his own. Like, the motherfucker still has to prove to himself and his family that he's worthy of doing the things that he's doing. And he still is investing in doing these things. So I'm just letting everybody know it's because of our sacrifice and our mentality that we're able to do the things that we do. And I've been helping as much as I possibly can. I feel like that's also something that you should do. Just because you don't have money to help right now doesn't mean you don't have the time. If you locked up in the house, you can still do something that can put in play being able to help someone else in one shape, form, or fashion. You can put on a mask and put on a complete suit and go build a garden somewhere in your community. You can go help out a school. Like, you can be outside within 6 feet of somebody. There's so many things that you can do to help out that will increase your karmatic equation of the world of putting things in your favor. So it's pretty deep.
100%. We're in a very unique situation, and you have two ways of looking at it. You can look at it in a negative light, like this is the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Or you can say, well, now I have the opportunity to go do X, Y, and Z. I can go help my community. I can learn from this experience and put myself in a better situation. That's not to underplay that it's not painful, right? That's not to be dismissive that you're not in a bad situation. Listen, when this first hit, my business got crushed, no question. It hurt a lot, and I'm not downplaying that at all. There's a lot of people in a lot of pain over this, but this is also a great opportunity for you to go, okay, things happen not to you, but they happen for you.
There you go.
To take that and run with it, right? So that when these situations happen again, you're in a much, much better position to take advantage of situations like this instead of being subjected to things like this.
There you go. Man, my last question to both of you guys is what music are you currently listening to keep you, what's your quarantine playlist right now? Because mine, I will start and say, it took me so long to fall in love with rap again, and I know that sounds crazy for people. I love, like, it's not too many rappers that inspire me, and so I used to just listen to a lot of R&B and jazz and even Beethoven and Mozart, believe it or not. Like, just get outside of the realm of the stereotypical what people think I always listen to because I'm a rapper, is rap all day. But I've been able to fall in love with rap again, like listening to the old stuff, listening to, like culturally relevant, what I would consider classics of today that are going to stand the test of time. So that's what I've been listening to, man, and it's been great. And YouTube actually helped me do that. Marco, what about you?
I mean, if I were to make like a playlist,
his playlist is all over the fucking place.
It's all over the place. like we'll be sitting at the pool, and wherever we are, and they're just like, what? It's just
yeah.
I like old school. I like old school hip hop is like awesome. It's my go-to. I like house for workout stuff. Like right now, I would probably listen to Sinatra, sitting outside, have a cigar, have a drink. And so Sinatra, I like, jazz. But then, like I'm at the cabin, 80s rock, whatever. Like I just love music. I love every genre, really. I want to get more into country. I don't really like country as much as I want to. So everything but that. I mean, I'm all over the show.
Me too. I need to get into more country too, man. So we got to golf and listen to country music when we golf at the same time, Marco.
That's right.
That sounds
all right,
painful.
Pierre, what you got? What you listening to, man?
Actually, I would take Marco's answer almost verbatim because I'm not a country fan either. 80s rock, or even a little bit. I would say a little
80s
bit of classic rock.
Cheers to 80s rock.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That. But you know what? I'll answer slightly different. Which is, I'm a big jazz fan, obsessed with jazz, and I actually started watching the whole Ken Burns documentary on jazz, which is crazy long for any of you. It's on Netflix or one of the streaming services. I mean, it's days worth of watching, and they go so deep and in the history. And I thought I knew a decent amount about jazz. I'll tell you what, I learned so much from watching this. It is incredible. And the specifically, there's a handful of musicians that I'm a huge fan of. So Charlie Parker is one of them, Louis Armstrong, Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday. So those are like my kind of top four that I just love. And learning about specifically Louis Armstrong and his background, and how you want to talk about tough, you want to talk about growing up in a bad way, man.
I didn't know that. You're gonna make me watch that shit, man. Damn.
Wow. I mean, I don't think so. His mom had like 20 kids. She had him when she was only 16, which granted at that time wasn't as young as we view it today, but it was still terrible. She had to be a prostitute to make ends meet. So she had no money. She actually ended up giving him up for effectively an orphanage at just at around 10 or 11 years old. He got a job playing a tin whistle sitting on top of a coal cart, a cart that brought coal around to the different brothels, right? And he would play that so that the people knew, okay, the coal shipment is here for during the day.
Oh man, don't give it all away. I gotta watch this shit. Man.
It's like you get chills. I mean, you just get chills. You're just like, this guy is so unbelievable, and everything that he did. Anyway, it's an amazing story of what I think of as just a great American story, which is pull yourself up from your bootstraps and work. And Louis Armstrong's one of the most famous jazz musicians of all time. I named my dog after him. I mean, he's such a hero to me. And to learn more about him, he only became a bigger hero to me. So Ken Burns jazz, dude, I can't recommend it enough.
Yo, Pierre, like I could talk to you guys for days. So at some point I'm gonna have to end this, but you just brought up another memory. Because we talk about this all the time, Marco, and I know you have friends like this, but it's like we all have friends that don't live up to the expectations in which we wish they would. Like we want more for them than they want for themselves. And what you just said was like, it's so important that people understand that we live in America, bro. Even as fucked up as certain things are in America,
100%.
It'd be different if we lived in certain countries where they have a ceiling for you and you can only do but so much. But I cannot stand anyone who is a lazy motherfucker. I cannot stand lazy people that live in America that realize the sky is the limit and that you can pretty much do whatever you want business-wise, but they still don't take advantage of that. Like, I hate that shit. But I'm going to end on this. You, Pierre, just basically said what you are watching right now, because I think we all need to hear this shit. Whether it's Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever the fuck it is, Apple TV, I will tell you, and then Marco, you got to end it and just let us know, because I want to hear it, because I might need to watch it too. What the hell have we been watching, man? I have been personally catching up on all the movies. Believe it or not, I couldn't watch the Stranger Things season 2 or 3 or whatever the hell that was that just came out. My kids finally made me watch that. That was good, whatever the latest one of that is. I watched something on Hulu with Kerry Washington and shit, I forget her name. Sorry, I'm cursing a lot. I know that YouTube people they get crazy with that. Oh, big Little Fires Everywhere. Make sure you watch that. That's pretty good, especially if you have kids. I watched that recently. I watched The Banker on Apple TV. They have this new service. That's really good. And lastly, I will end by saying maybe watch. I gotta support my friend Kevin Hart and say Jurassic. Oh shit, I just fucked up. Not Jurassic. What's the name of the thing that they did? Jumanji. It starts with
Jumanji.
J. Jumanji 2.
Jumanji
2. Go check that out. Marco, what the hell are you watching, man? Let us know.
Man, the last movie I watched was The Gentleman, and I think I told you, you got to watch that one. That's a McConaughey. I want to say it's a Guy Ritchie, but
yeah, it is. It is Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, so that one was a badass movie. That was the last movie. I watched Ozark.
Ozark is another one.
That's heavy, man. That's heavy. Ozark is.
You watch Ozark season 3, Pierre?
No, I just started season 1 and I was like, man, this is so heavy. I'm struggling to get through it.
Keep it going, bro. Keep watching it. Keep watching it. What else you got, Marco?
Oh man, Marta hates me because I'll just put on like some '90s action movies and she'll be
Thank
like,
you.
Like, what are we doing?
Go, please.
But the problem with this is I always do it on date night, and she's like, "Is this what we're doing on date night? Commando?" No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I like I don't know. I'm trying to think of like
Hot Rod.
You know, you and I are always on that dumb. The dumber the humor.
Pierre, have you ever seen Hot Rod or Pop Star?
Our wives hate us for this. They hate us for this.
Yeah, they do. They do, man. The safe word will be whiskey.
Whiskey.
So I don't want to find existentialism in my movies. I want to be entertained. And so give me robots that are killing each other. Give me Commando. Give me Bloodsport. Like, give me like just bad. I want it. Right.
Yes.
Anything with, Will Ferrell in it, I'll watch it. I don't care. I need all of that stuff. So yeah, that's my thing. I will say that my wife forces me to watch Tiger King, and it is she loves it and I hate it. So
I saw that too, bro. I saw that too, yo. Fucking hilarious.
I mean, okay, this is my take on it. I feel like we are watching a group of people who all have some level of mental handicap. They all have a mental disability to some degree. And we are getting far too much entertainment out of these people who functionally have real legitimate problems in how they view the world and themselves. Like I like get bummed out about it. My wife's cracking up laughing, thinking it's the craziest thing ever, which is what most Americans are doing. But for me, I watch it, I'm like, oh my God, these people need serious therapy or something. I don't know what.
Let me tell you something. What you just said within the last 10 seconds is exactly why we are all friends and why we are all on the same fucking page. Everyone has an opinion in this world. We have the same fucking opinion. I was watching that, like, what is everybody? I don't understand why everybody loves this. So why is everyone talking about this?
Thank you.
I could not understand it for the life of me. And it's not to say that it wasn't entertaining.
It's
Because it was entertaining, but I was just like, this is what's wrong with the world. This is what's wrong with the world.
It is, and it's the reason you can't look away from a train wreck. You have to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. That's it. Marco, that was very fucking prolific, bro. That was a prolific statement you just said. that was the greatest way to put it. Greatest way. Yo, man, we need to have part 2 of this shit, man. We could talk all day, man.
Yeah.
I know we all got tacos to eat and more liquor to drink and more cigars to smoke, but this has been amazing. Pierre, have we given you what you need, man? This YouTube is gonna get hundreds of thousands of fucking views, man.
This is amazing for me personally because of COVID. My favorite thing always to do is hang out with great people that I love and respect and can learn a ton from. You guys are definitely on the top of that list, and just guys being guys and talking about their love of Commando and bad movies, and smoking a cigar. Like I miss that, man. I mean, I haven't done that, right? It's just me and the kids in the home office, and that's my whole life. So on a personal level, thank you both for doing this because it has been cathartic and therapeutic for me. So I really, really appreciate it. This has been great. And
I have good news for you. Marco has vowed that when he actually retires from racing, he's going to start smoking cigars with me every single day. So we all have a lot of cigars to smoke together. We have a lot of tequila to drink. We have a hell of a lot of wine to drink because that's actually healthy for us and is heart healthy and keeps us living longer. And we have a lot of traveling to do, not only to Hawaii, but to all the different places around the world. Because if anything has put shit into perspective during this time frame of quarantine and COVID-19 is that life is to be lived to the fucking fullest.
Yes, agreed. I think that's a great way to go out. Marco, Chris, thank you so much. This has been amazing. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I
appreciate you because I told Marco this was going to be like 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes. We've gone for an hour, bro. Yes, we did it.
You're good. You. Felt like 15 minutes.
It did.
All
it
good
did.
Things, man. Appreciate it, man. Eat your tacos. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Everybody, we love you. Until next time, man. Peace.
Thank you, everybody. See you. Bye-bye.